Okay, great. So welcome to the call. We are now recording. If you do have any questions, this is the time to ask tonight. And you guys can jot down your questions in the chat box. What I've done is I have asked a lot of you guys that were in the boot camp some of your questions that you might have or where you might be struggling with. And I got some really great replies. So I'm really, really excited to kind of dive into that because it seems like most of you seem to be on the same page as far as the kind of questions you had and what you were really asking of and wanting more from me. So I'm excited for this call tonight, but what I want to ask you guys, if you are able to use the chat, answer yes only if you want to make more than $300 a month regularly. If you want to make more than $300 a month regularly, with Isogenics. In the chat, answer yes. Okay, so far everybody's yes. So $300 a month is about what would cover, I think, most people's products. Their shakes, their ionics, their amps line, whatever else they like, coffee, e-shots. So some people I do meet with just are interested in earning enough to cover their products. So I usually try to help them earn $300 a month every single month. If you want to earn more than $300 a month, here's what it really takes. You have to decide if you can do this business part-time or full-time. Part-time or full-time. So full-time would be at least 30 hours a week, and part-time is at least 10 hours a week. You cannot do the business sometime unless you are okay with being paid sometimes. So if you want more than $300 regularly, residually coming into your account every week, then you need to decide if you're going to do part-time or full-time. So I do this full-time. I have at least 30 hours a week on this. Some of you might not have the ability to do this full-time. So then that might make your answer part-time. But the reason I'm asking you to look at it in that way is because it allows you to schedule this as an actual job. I remember doing the Eric Worre training, and he said, people always say, treat it like a business and you'll get paid like a business. And he's like, I love that. However, when you have your own business, sometimes people don't really focus, but when they work for somebody else, they do. So if you ever were to work for somebody else, if you ever had a job, a job, did you show up on time? Did you clock in and clock out the times that you were supposed to? Did you just not show up? Did you fall asleep on the job? Things like that. And that was because it was your job. So if you focus on this is a part-time thing and you are committing to a certain amount of hours, then you have to really mentally put that focus in. Because if you really want this to create some major residual income for you, it just has to be something that's taken seriously. Far too many times with network marketing, we see a lot of people, they do just do this as a hobby. I have a lot of friends that are more doing something with network marketing as a hobby. They just, have some fun jewelry parties and they sell jewelry. And it's not to make them a huge amount of income. Maybe they're just getting some free jewelry. Or maybe sometimes you have people with the makeup and, they just love makeup. They get some free makeup, maybe make a little bit of money, but it's a hobby. So if you really want to make residual income in this, that's could be life-changing. That could be your kid's future college fund or get you out of debt or buy a house or whatever, then you need to really seriously say this is like a job and these are my hours that I'm working. So that was one thing I just wanted to bring up because I had some questions about time. How do you spend time on this? So we really need to mentally think of this as a job, part-time or full-time, whatever you decide. Because if you think of it as a hobby or that's something you're going to do as a side hustle and you don't really program it in your day, I really feel like it's the energy that you're putting out there and that's what you're going to get back. It's so much to do with energy. So if you really, after tonight's call, really just sit down and think how many hours, pretend you're getting hired for something. How many hours will you commit to building this foundation that can be loads and loads of residual money paid to you every Monday? Okay, it doesn't happen overnight. So you've got to be putting in the work now. All right, so some basics, you guys, that I had questions about. All right, so just to review, When you become a consultant, you have to have at least somebody ordering 100 BV on the left and somebody ordering 100 BV on the right that you personally enrolled. So only enrolling 2 people is not good because what if the next month that person doesn't order or they drop below? So that's why you have to constantly be looking out in your back office. As you get started, it is hard because you don't have a lot of people to depend on. Now remember, another question, people say left and right side. You want to build to executive, you want to focus on both sides having people that are sharing. Now, we already know not everybody's going to share. But if you guys that are just starting out here, if you are already making sure to cast the vision up front and you're not having these fears about letting people know about this opportunity, you're already like way ahead of where I started because I took way too long to share this opportunity with people. So as you bring people in, you really want to focus on whoever it is. Say you enroll someone, Lisa, you enroll Lisa. Help Lisa have an amazing product experience and help her share with 2 people. That's your focus. Then you enroll somebody, another friend. You enroll your friend Hannah. Make sure Hannah has a great product experience and enrolls at least 2 people. Help her share. Now, some people won't share. Some people might refer to you. Some people might hate it. That's okay. That's not going to be up to you. Remember, it's not that you don't know what's going to happen without that outcome. But if you have the mindset that everybody that you enroll and bring in, that you're committed in those first 30 days to helping them have the best product experience and share with 2 people. And for example, I do have somebody brand new, Stephanie, who's on the call tonight. She just started. And Stephanie, I started you out like I've been starting everybody out my recent years. I let you know the opportunity right away. She can tell me no if she wants, but I'm not going to hide it from her if she wants to earn money. So Stephanie's already on the call tonight. But that's my mindset. So it's just, I want to share with everybody. I want Stephanie to have a great experience. I want her to have the support, and I want her to start making money. If she doesn't want it, that's going to be up to her. So make sure that your mindset's correct. When you bring somebody into this, that's like you're bringing somebody in. That is your gem. That's not the end. That's the beginning. When somebody enrolls, it's not the end. It's the beginning. Okay. Another question was about being paid. So you will get a Visa card if you have not already. I know a lot of you already recently became consultants. Congratulations, by the way. There's quite a few new consultants. You will get a Visa card in the mail from Isagenix. You will have directions of how you can link that to your bank account, and you will be paid every Monday from Isagenix. Now, I want to tell you guys, because sometimes people say, hey, where's my money I just made this week? It's 1 week in arrears. So Monday that just passed, that was from the week before. That wasn't the week that just ended on Sunday night. It was the prior week. So it's 1 week in arrears that you're getting paid. However, some of the PIBs, the premium pack and the value pack, do pay you the original PIB the next day. If you get it doubled, that double amount is on your following Monday paycheck. In your back office, you guys, you will see all of your compensation history and how you get paid, and it's broken down. And as you start making money, you should be looking at that every time you get paid. I look at it, make sure I see everything's there. I like to just see how I get paid, how many cycles, where's the money coming from, and all of that. Okay, so you want to go to your back office and make sure you're keeping on that. Again, it's in your back office. You view compensation history, and they'll have a breakdown. But yes, you will get a Visa card, and it's always paid on your Visa card. It's loaded on that card every Monday. So you'll get an email, Isagenix just paid you X amount of dollars. Now, I like to move it right away to my bank account, and I suggest that you do that just in case somebody steals your card, you lose your card. It's not protected. It's just like a gift card almost. So you want to make sure you move that to your secure bank account. Okay? Because if anything happens and you have I have Wells Fargo, if there's some fraud on it, they'll immediately take care of it. So you want to make sure you move that money over. I would suggest that if you want to use your card, in the beginning and buy dinners and stuff, you're totally more than welcome to. But I don't know. I just feel like people can, if you use them at gas stations, I hear that people can take your number. So I would just be safe. And as soon as you get paid, move it over. As soon as you get your card, they'll give you a letter to how to do that. Okay. So that was a question a couple of you had. Okay, another good question that a lot of you had actually was feeling, or you're struggling with feeling overwhelmed. I get it. I'm still overwhelmed. How many years later? So my best advice to you is to time block and to set your priorities. So if you, for example, I really do want to learn Instagram right now, but I've had other things that have kept me from it because I had to think, what do I need to do right now? Like, what is my immediate focus? The Instagram training is going to be hours of me learning something new. So I have that on my plan, but it wasn't immediate, so I haven't started it yet. So if you have a podcast about social media and you feel like that is very important for you to learn out, then schedule it in first. But you guys don't get overwhelmed. I mean, I can't tell you not to, I still do, but it's just the nature of the beast. But that's just part of it. Don't let it slow you down. Don't let it discourage you. There's a lot of information. I know. You'll learn as you go. But focus on what's most important for you right now. Just kind of learn the basics. Stay involved. But time blocking is so important. A lot of times, I think people would do so much better if they really, truly learned the art of time blocking. How many of you guys, even admittedly, I do it, you realize you wasted an hour scrolling on Facebook. You did a post and then you got sucked in and you scrolled, and you could have done something else in that hour. You could have, reached out to some people or listened to a podcast. So there's always time. We just have to really block our time. Okay. The other thing is setting your intention. That's what I wanted to say with getting overwhelmed. Like, set your intention. What is really the main focus? And you have to cut out distractions. What is going to distract you from reaching that? If it is, gosh, I gave up TV years ago when I started really building this, and I really haven't missed it, and I don't watch much TV. It's just not something that's a priority for me right now. Once in a while, and weekend movie night, but I'm not somebody that at night sits down and watches TV. Maybe social plans, I think it's important to be social because it helps you expand your network, but sometimes it can go overboard and take up way too much time. So just prioritize where you spend your time and set the intention so that you know and can recognize when you're getting distracted from it. Even phone calls, it just, maybe if there's a certain time that you need to focus on work, don't accept phone calls, don't even look at your notifications, text messages, just get whatever it is done, whether it's listening to a whole podcast and taking notes. How many of you have tried to listen to a podcast, start taking notes, and then you get distracted and do something else and you never went back to it? So it's common to get distracted. So we have to be very mindful that we block those distractions, and every morning set your intention and maybe have at least one goal every day of something you want to accomplish. Another question I got, one person asked me this question. When was my breakthrough? Now, there's a lot of different breakthroughs you're going to have when you build your business. The beginning is tough. The beginning is going to be your test because you don't have a huge network under you yet, right? So building that foundation is where your character is really going to show, and that's where you're going to grow. Just like if you ever see a building being built and you drive past it and you're like, oh, they're working construction and they're laying that foundation and it takes so long, and then all of a sudden, bam, the building's up. Same thing with the house. I remember when we were, seeing the house being built, once the framework was up, it went so much faster. And that's the same thing with building your business. Once you have the framework, you have your group of loyal customers, and now they're sharing and you got a flow going, that's when it starts. And it can take time. Well, it does take time. And some people, it can take 6 months. Some people take a year. Some people could take 2 years to really get it going. My first breakthrough was when I decided that I was not going to be a cleanse coach. I was going to be a business coach. That was a huge shift for me. I started this without wanting to share the business because of all my past ideas about network marketing, and I just had a big wall up. And I just thought, I'm just going to coach people through the products because that felt more comfortable for me. And so I was everybody's cleanse coach. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, it worked. It helped build momentum for me. It helped build a big customer base. I think it was comfortable for me. I was kind of getting in my groove. But then I started to get tired of constantly, working a little bit too long and over the top with some of these people, and they weren't even staying loyal on the products. I know a lot of you have experienced that. They weren't sharing it, then they were complaining, and I was kind of like, this isn't fun anymore. And then I decided, you know what, I have to stop attracting just those needy types of people that want me to hold their hand, because that's what I was attracting, because that was the energy I was putting out. I had to shift my energy, and it took a few months just to even shift it. Took a few months, and then it really started to change for me. But it's because I put myself out there as, I'm going to be your coach, I'm your nutrition buddy, I'm going to walk you through this. So of course I attracted all these needy people that were asking me lots of questions, that were crying to me, that were telling me they were having Alfredo, and it was just getting too crazy. But that's what I attracted. So I had to shift. So that was a big breakthrough. The other thing, you guys, when Sandra joined me, that was like, she was a happy product user and shared casually. But when she decided to join the business, that was a huge change, huge. And you guys will see that if you haven't, most of you are new. So when you get one person, and it might not be somebody you directly enroll, it could be a couple below you. That's the beauty of this. Doesn't matter. But when somebody just sees the vision and they link arms with you and they run with you, it will change your business. And so that was another big breakthrough, is getting my person, because I had a lot of people wishy-washy about it, kind of in. I'm sure a lot of you that are on the call that are consultants and trying to build your team know what I'm talking about. They're very wishy-washy. Like, they're kind of interested, but they're not doing anything. They say they're not on the calls. They're not, and it's hard. And you can have that for years until you find that one powerhouse. So just remember that. But what happens is when you get that one person and you start to take off, is you create momentum, and then you start attracting more and more and more. So those were pretty much I think I got most of the questions that you guys emailed me about. Just looking at my notes because I wrote them all down. Okay. Yes, there was another one. This one might take a little time. And if you guys actually think of a question, you can put it in the chat box. So what to do with your time? Natalie, you're on here. Yes, Natalie had this one, and so did somebody else that emailed. So when you're trying to kind of schedule your time, like you are going to work part-time or full-time, what does it look like? What do you do? First of all, you guys have got to start logging into your back office every day. I do it at least, a few times a day, but at least once a day. I know when you're new, there's not much reports or anything, but you want to start to get to know your back office. Try to connect every day. Now, connecting, you can give yourself a goal of how many people. If you want to really go into this all out, like 10 would be pretty aggressive a day, connections. And it could be through social media connections. It could be through reaching out and texting somebody, but very intentional connections. Going out, whether you're going to the park with your kids after school and you intentionally connect with people. Now, when I say connections, doesn't mean that Isagenix even has to be brought up. It's new connections. You're just connecting. This is all part of this, is connecting with people. So 10 a day. And it's really not that hard if you realize that you don't have to bring Isagenix up, but you want to connect. So not your same group of 3 or 4 people you talk to all the time, but really try to expand new people. You want to share your Isagenix story, you guys. That's important. Sandra did a great call about your 30-second story. If you are still kind of new, I know a lot of you are just starting with the products, it might be more about what you're most excited about. But if you have had a product testimony of anything, even if it's just increased energy or, more confidence, whatever it is, you have to talk about that and tell people. Like I said, if you're talking to people, you can always bring up, you should do what I do. If they're telling you they're tired or they need to lose weight or they hate their job or they need more money, you should do what I do. It helps bridge that gap. They're kind of reaching out to you, so you're offering a solution, okay? Following up should be something you're doing. If people have reached out to you, Roz posted something, I think in one of the groups, about how she reached out to everybody that liked her post, just liked. So somebody that likes a post, like maybe you put something about the holiday survival or little black dress and they like it, but they didn't comment. They're kind of interested, right? Or they're just being really supportive. Either way, there's nothing wrong with reaching out and saying, thanks so much for liking on my post. Do you have any health or wellness goals I can help you with? Or are you interested in joining this little black dress? Can I give you any more information? Okay. Or thanks so much for liking my post. It really means a lot that you support me. I'm super eager to coach a group of people through this next challenge. Are you interested? Or maybe you know somebody who is. But reaching out, following up, excuse me, posting on social media. And if you have more than one platform, I mean, it could be, I know it seems like a lot of work, but if you are setting, this is what you're doing and the time that you're working, social media is in that. Don't get stuck on wasting an hour looking at everybody's vacation photos. But if you're intentionally posting, and remember I did a whole thing on social media. If you guys missed it, I did record it. That was a really good video to rewatch if you still need work on what to do with social media, but that's part of your day of what to do. Gratitude is big, guys. It is just like I always talk about an energy, not only feeling gratitude for what you have now, but pouring gratitude into other people. If every day you pour gratitude into somebody, just imagine 30 days later. That's a huge energy, guys, huge. Who can you reach out to and just thank them? Pour gratitude into your own life and into others. Every day gratitude. Affirmations and visualization. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, I thought we were talking about what we're doing when we're working on isogenics. This is part of it. It's huge. What are your affirmations? So you don't lose focus on what's so important to you, what you're working for, okay? Podcasts. I would even say if you're doing this part-time, maybe one podcast a day, get through them. At least you should be doing a few a week. There's some on the business, but there's some on products. So if you want to get familiar with the products, there's even short little ones that you can just listen to about cleansing. If you want to, I just think it's good to know this stuff, right? And then I always think if you are self-motivated, you won't need to have an accountability partner to check in with. But if you're not quite there yet, you might want to reach out to somebody else on the team to be your accountability partner and check in with them. That's something that I never needed to do that because I kind of self-check all the time. But if you want to get in that habit, it is a good way to start, having an accountability partner. So those are some things you can do daily. But you really want to make sure you're not missing opportunities to talk to people, because that's really what you have to do as you start to build up your social media and letting your, and don't worry about your circle of friends. That was another thing is people are asking about friends. Don't worry about your group of friends if they're not interested. I actually think it's better to connect with new people, because sometimes your friends, you can kind of get turned off by them if they start and then they're complaining and then it can be, ugh. So if they reach out to you, fine, but don't worry. Don't even go there. Don't worry about your friends. Just keep putting it out there. There's so many people. If you do not have a huge following on social media, you can build that up. There's absolutely ways to build that up. Okay, I have a question in the chat box. Do you know any references that help write great affirmation using the right words? You could probably Google that. GTS, Google that shit. Been liking to say that a lot to people. Yes, Google is my best friend. Somebody's not muted because they're laughing. But so no, for real, Google that. It is really, your affirmations have to be so close to your heart. Affirmations are speaking truth into the future. This is coming into existence for me. So it should be kind of unique to your own. But yes, if you look up business affirmations or entrepreneur affirmations, self-love affirmations, whatever it is that you're needing to affirm with yourself, everybody's different. Some people, don't need a lot of help with their confidence or, that's okay. So whatever you're needing to pour belief into yourself every day. So speaking of Google, so yeah, now that I have you guys almost done with your first 30 days. It is very important, very, very important for you guys to know where to find information. I have to tell you that not only do I have my personal team, and then I have downline, and then I do this. You would be shocked if you saw how many messages I get. You would be shocked. And it's fun. And I totally, when people are starting out, I know there's a lot of questions, but I do want to point you in some direction, because I have to start time blocking myself, because I just did this Infusionsoft, and it's honestly going to be a huge amount of time for me to figure this out. And I do need to still do my Instagram training. So I have to start to balance my time. I might not be as quick as getting back to your messages. So you guys have got to know customer service's number. I call customer service all the time. And they can troubleshoot things for you. So if there's something like you're really not sure about and you messed up something in your back office, you don't have to wait on me. This is your business that you are going to now start to build, and again, you guys are only 28 days in, so you're going to have a few weeks that you probably still have questions for me, but you do want to know you should know customer service number. So that's in the back office. I posted that too. Thank you, Shayla. Posted it. It is actually a really easy number to remember. The chat box. How many of you have used chat in Isagenix? I use it all the time still. All the time. So when you log in your Isagenix, there's a chat box. There's also tutorials. And I'm a visual person, so I like to see, okay, show me how to manage this, new cart to configure a cart. So it'll show it to you. It's actually sometimes really hard for me to explain things over to you guys via text and via Messenger. In the Facebook groups, you guys, if you use the search bar, I do it all the time. I had somebody the other day that asked me for, she said, if you're a nursing mom. So I just went into Body Alive, nutritional support, put in the search bar, breastfeeding, and it came right up. I found it right away. Or I could have gone to Google. But, you got to learn how to just be able to answer people's questions, find things out on your own. It's going to grow you as a leader as well. What else? What other things? Oh, all the Isagenix websites, start getting to them. Products, isaproduct.com, Isagenix, I think there's, what is the science one? IsaHealth, isagenixhealth.net, sorry. But yeah, there's so many different resources. So you can always find things. Now, I don't want you guys to be afraid to come to me for questions, but I need to really use my time for three-way calls and really business coaching and things like that. So if there's a question, think before you send it to me, because I'm not going to be so quick the next couple of weeks replying. I really do need to start focusing on my things that I've committed to. Otherwise, I'm glued to my phone. You'd be absolutely shocked. If I go and work out for an hour and I look at my phone, I get anxiety when I look at it. That's how many messages I have to reply to. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I want to teach you guys that are new, that, excuse me, are just finishing up this boot camp, to be self-motivated because that's honestly, leaders are like that. The only way to really earn big money is to be a leader, to have be an executive, have a great team that you're leading. So these are the skills I want you to kind of get now. Okay. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat. Okay, there's a good question from Stephanie. Yes, you are very new. She just started. You're only a few days in on your belly buster. So Stephanie, the top 3 things for a brand new consultant, I would say just stay plugged into Team Break Free, which is the Facebook page, and the call. So anytime you can jump on a training call. But one thing that I think is so important when you're new is to keep a notebook. And anytime that you have a question pop up, just write it down. Have an Isagenix notebook. And as you're listening to podcasts and managing your time, start to write. I used to write down things. I was like, oh my gosh, that was just so, I loved the way it sounded. Somebody describing the way that the products work. I loved how it sounded. My voice is going again. Can't believe it. And I would just write down in the notebook. And then for you being only on you're just starting, you got to use me a lot. So 3-way messages on Facebook, just so that you know how to talk to people, and you could kind of link arms with me so I can mentor you. Okay. So you don't want to just feel like you're all on your own. You guys are new and I want to mentor you guys. I just want you to know where to find, where you guys could find things is what I'm saying, but I want you to use me still. So Stephanie, if you have a friend that's interested, you can do a 3-way text or a 3-way message and just say, hey, Gina, this is my friend Linda. She's interested in 30-day program. I told her about my great results. I wanted you to meet in case you had any questions. And I could chime in like, oh, what are questions? Here's a goals assessment sheet I'd love for you to fill out. Now, Stephanie, you did fill out that goals assessment sheet. That's another thing I would just tell people from the start is to have some kind of system for yourself. I love the goals assessment sheet. Love it. So Stephanie, because you filled it out, that's going to be easy for you to duplicate. So you really want to start people out the way you want them to duplicate. So every time you have somebody interested, guys, just you've got to think in your mind, they're going to duplicate what you're showing them. So if they enroll with just one shake, when they go to duplicate that, it's going to be hard for them to talk to people about a 30-day system. Just remember that. Now, it does happen sometimes, but every time you have somebody that you're bringing in, they're going to duplicate what you're showing them. So get a system that you find works. I love the goals assessment. I think it's simple. It helps with the first phone call or the first time you're trying to help set somebody up. I knew from that assessment that Stephanie had interest in sharing if she liked the products. I knew her goals. And I knew just basically what I could suggest to her. So I love that. And it's easy. I did have somebody on here who said they send that to people and they didn't fill it out. So this is the thing about posture. I don't give anybody the rest of the information until they fill that out. They wouldn't even know what to order because they didn't fill it out yet. I make them fill that out first. So I say, before I can help you with the best pack, please complete this goals assessment form. That will help me determine what to suggest for you. You've got to have that posture. And it does come with time, but it's a confidence. So you're in charge. You're in charge. So a lot of times when we start out, we're kind of the one, they're in charge, right? And there's like a separation, and I remember that too. And you want the enrollment so bad, you don't want to mess it up, and it's just this whole energy you're putting out there. So you've got to really work on that, and it comes in time, and it might not be overnight, but eventually you get this posture where they're coming to you. Here's the goals assessment that's required. I'm going to help you with what to get started. And then you're going to plug them into all of the resources. And remember, it duplicates. So every person you bring in, just make sure that you are that first 30 days, you should be making sure they are equipped to have an amazing experience with the products and that they understand that they can earn money if they share it. Every person, they should know that. So if there's anybody that you brought in that you didn't do that with, you should go back and saying, you know what, when I brought you in, there were some things I failed to mention to you. I just want to make sure that you're equipped with everything you need, that you understand that you have this great account that's growing, that you can earn residual income on if you so choose to. There's nothing wrong with going back. So I'm going to take a quick water break, but anybody have any questions? Okay, so is the consensus that you guys like to have weekly calls? You're welcome, Stephanie. I'm going to stop the recording real quick.